Good morning, everybody. It's super early. Well, not super early, it's 7-ish. And it's going to be really hot this week again. So those hot morning chores, but this one's unique because I need to, just looking at the walnuts or dropping walnuts, which is always like, you feel like you need to wear a hard helmet through the backyard when you walk. Blight has arrived to the garden and I need to water the garden, but I don't want to water the garden with that much blight affected leaves on my tomatoes present, because you know it'll just splash and spread. And I had seen like early kind of like onesie twosie. Oh my gosh, that is the most massive spider web. Is it going to show up? What are you? Hold on, look, can I put my arm behind it? What are you? I mean, it is in the middle of nowhere land. What are you even attached to? You're a genius. Okay. Ooh. I'm trying to do this with my coffee in my hand because I have not even had a second to wake up. But it's like, you know, when you get to the end of summer and you're having those major 30-degree temperature swings every day, and every state claims that they're the only state that that happens to, and it's just not true. We're always like, you know, if you're from Michigan, if you wake up and it's 64 and by lunchtime it's 94, I think that happens everywhere. So I'm going to show you guys you know, blight, what it looks like, in case you don't know, and how I deal with it, and some things that you could expect if you don't deal with it, because it will affect the fruit. And if I find any fruit affected, I'll show it to you, but right now it's just get in here, deal with it, so I can water the garden is the main point. But first, can I have a sip of coffee and then we'll get going, okay? Powdery mildew too has shown up on my zucchini plants, but we're not going to deal with that right now. Okay, let me grab my snippers. Alrighty, so I think I started to mention, then I got startled by the spider web. Before I left for vacation, I would say that for 2 weeks before, I would see a branch that looks suspicious and I would just snip it off and throw it away. One thing, first and foremost, with blight is you don't want to leave it in your garden. Don't chop and drop it. Don't mulch it. I think you can compost it if you get your compost hot enough, but I just burn it. So our burn pile's right there. I'll just drop it over the fence, pick it all up, and then we'll burn it. Okay, so I guess 2 things to talk about. Let me find the worst plant, because it's really just like onesie twosies, like, you know, are you guys seeing that? It's not, okay. All right, come down here. You stop focusing. Okay. Alrighty. So let me just break this little branch off. All right. So do you see the spotting? The spotting on those leaves, it's kind of hard to see. So the little spots. So blights will start showing up as little dots, like spots, and then it will turn yellow. Your leaves will turn yellow and then they'll turn brown. And it starts from the bottom and works its way up. So if we go all the way up, it's beautiful, beautiful, healthy. And as we come down the plant, we start to see some yellowing and spotting, and then the bottom leaf, which is actually quite high. So I'm going to put you guys on the ground, turn you just a little bit. So here's the vine, and I'm going to raise you guys up. Oh, if I can. So I'm squatting, I'm not kneeling, and this is my first leaf set. So that's number one thing that you can do early in the season is just keep your leaves cut way up off the branches as you can. You know, you can't always do that right away because you've got a tomato fruiting set there or something like that, but once your fruit is set, go ahead and cut those leaves off around it and get those leaves up off the ground, because blight is a soil-borne fungus that splashes from the soil and comes up and gets on your plants. So then you're going to take your pruning shears and you're just going to cut the branch away, and you're going to try as best as you can to not touch the other branches. And you don't want to leave any of those little fungus spores in the garden. So that's what I'm doing, just going around trimming affected branches and throwing them over the fence right now. So it's going to take me some time. Let me show you one of the worst though. I do have one plant that looks so bad. So let me show you that one. Can you turn just a little bit? Okay. So here is a plant, and you can see it just will kill the plant. It will kill it. And then, like I said, if I'm lucky enough to find fruit affected, fruit will do the exact same thing. Your tomato fruit, like if you're like me and you're somebody and you harvest it and bring it inside, it'll get spots on it, and then those spots will kind of not ripen or something. I can't tell what it's doing, but it's not a pretty fruit, and it will get like just little softened rot spots, kind of like. So it will affect your harvest, and ultimately it would kill the plant. So that's, I guess, what blight is, how to identify it. So you're looking for spotted leaves that turn yellow, that wither, that die, and it starts from the ground up. And get it out of the garden as soon as you identify it to keep it from spreading. Once it's there, it's pretty much there, but if you don't address it, it'll just kill your plant, and you can prolong your season of dealing with blight by managing blight. I've never been able to eradicate it, like once it's, once it's here, it's in the soil, but I can slow down its effect on my harvest. Does that make sense? Okay, and I could be wrong that you can't eradicate it, so if there's somebody out there smarter than me, feel free to let us know. But, major things that you can do is mulch your soil and keep your leaves off the ground early in the season. And my soil is very well mulched, but something must just have that blight fungus in it. I don't know. I'm almost wondering if it doesn't affect the fruit setting, because it hasn't been that hot. And I'm seeing a lot of fruits. Can you guys, let me move my scissors. A lot of fruit sets that failed. So it could, I guess maybe I've either never paid that close of attention to it, or typically that'll happen if it's, hot is my experience. And when I say hot, like close to 90, like it's going to be today, it's just tomato self-survival mode, and it'll not put its energy into making tomatoes. It'll put its energy into staying alive. But blight maybe has something to do with that too. I have so many mulberry saplings growing in this garden. It's ridiculous. Okay, let's see. I'll show you guys at the end how much is outside this fence row. It's gonna be a lot. So I don't know if you guys saw when I handled the vines, I'm using my cleaner hand that is on the pruners, and this hand that's touching the vines is, I'm trying not to touch the plants with. Okay, that row is done. I don't know if you guys will be able to tell a difference at all, but let's take this tomato vine, for example. So I'm gonna run my hand behind the vine. The first leaves are up here and then cleared all the way down. And that's okay, a vine can survive like that. You know, it just needs leaves up to its next fruiting set that hasn't fruited yet. Once it fruits, the blossoms are fruited. They don't need their leaves that low anymore. So, all right, now I got to go through this center weedy section and work at that. And I'm sure that these weeds are probably containing some of the spores, and the best thing to do would be to knock that all down and weed it. But I'm not doing that first thing this morning. My primary purpose is to get this at least off the plants themselves. Okay, I did my best. I hopefully you guys can see. We'll walk through here as we're going, and you'll see maybe how much fewer leaves there are. I think I got, oh, I see one. It's hard. You think you got them all, and then walk back through and you see a spot. Oh, I thought of, as I was doing this, another thing. So one thing that I didn't stay on top of in my pruning routine is keeping the airflow really good. So really thinning those branches, keeping the suckers thinned, that's definitely something that's gonna help. And mine had gotten quite competitive with all their leaves. So you're gonna see lots of clean branches up now. And you know, if you have all the time in the world to stay on top of that stuff, definitely do it, because it will absolutely help. Okay. I think I'm safer, I'll say it that way, to water now. And I definitely noticed that, and don't ask me because I won't know, because I didn't see any ripened fruit on it, and I don't have my tomato plants, sorry. Don't ask me because I don't know, because I don't have my tomato plants memorized, and none of the fruit was ripe. But I did notice that some seem quite blight resistant. Hardly affected at all, and they would be right next to a plant that was totally impacted. So I'm gonna go pick what few little tomatoes are ready, pick zucchini, and then we're gonna get to water in the garden. But I thought, hey, it's a good one to share with you guys. I know I've dealt with blight in the past. I don't know that I've ever necessarily done a dedicated video on it other than potato blight. So blight can affect a lot of vining crops, we'll say it like that. Potatoes, cucumbers, tomatoes, those are the things I deal most with it. I think it may be even affect beans. But again, it's a soil-borne fungus, and if you stay on top of it, you can manage it. So You guys are in my angel right now, sorry. I'm gonna go grab these tomatoes and I'll be right back. Stay, okay. First, the second sip of coffee, please. Everything's doing its like last little summer hurrah showing, like honeysuckle blooms again. But it's so small of a bloom compared to that first bloom. My clematis blooms again. So I've got like 3 clematis blooms right now. The roses bloom again, but everything's like much less than that initial summer bloom. But it's fun to see. The hummingbirds have been out just thoroughly enjoying it. Alrighty, tomato picking time. Not too many. There's a lot, just a lot green still. So I just recently did a pick. I think these are our favorites and I have no idea what they are. I don't remember planting anything that looked like this on the seed package, but maybe it's some kind of German something, but it's really meaty, hardly any seeds and great flavor. We like them all so far this year. I haven't had a bad one. I love the amanas. They have a good chew to them. But I'm gonna go over and pick the zucchini, and since we're talking, you know, fungus spores and stuff like that, I'm pretty sure powdery mildew is of the same category. And you'll see the tomato and pumpkin is affected by the powdery mildew now. And this is something that I don't battle. Usually by the time it shows up, I have plenty. Sorry, you guys are not being, the ground's not level where I'm trying to put you. All right, well, I'm just gonna have to hold you. But this is powdery mildew. When some zucchinis are variegated, so don't let, early spring and you see white and green zucchini leaves. Oh no, some of it is variegated. You know it's powdery mildew if you can wipe it away. So did you see how I made that stripe? If you can wipe it away, it's powdery mildew. And it, I think it probably affects something about the photosynthesis capability of the plant, and then the leaf will die away. So I do have some zucchini here to pick. And then the pumpkin vines look affected, and I think you can spray them with like milk, a milk spray. I'll look into it because I'm still a little early in my pumpkin season, so I may try to do something with that. But with the zucchini, for me anyway, usually by the time it shows up, I have wazoo zucchini put up, so I don't bother fighting with it. But I have a few more zucchini to get, so I'm gonna grab those real quick. The garden is an absolute jungle this time of year. Alrighty, big one. That's for breads. Nice size one for grilling. Like, these are all good grilling zucchini for me. All right, and 2 big ones for grating up salsas, breads, all that kind of stuff. But thanks guys for coming out in the garden with me and me just sharing my experience of dealing with end of summer type typical, you're fighting to win the battle of keeping your garden alive, whether it's pests or things dying or weeds. And I'm battling everything other than the pests really this year. We had the little potato beetle snafu, but we managed that. But the weeds are giving me fits, and now we're dealing with the mildew and the funguses and all that nonsense. But it's time for me to go open the farm stand. So I will see you guys on the next video, and happy growing, happy gardening where you are. Bye guys.